Keanu Reeves has issued a dire warning to none other than Jim Carrey. What's it about? Don't miss the details of this urgent message. Keanu Reeves and Jim Carrey are two of Hollywood's most beloved figures, each with their own unique charm and extraordinary careers. But recent events have brought them together in a completely unexpected way. Keanu reportedly sent a disturbing warning to Jim Carrey, suggesting he may be the next target of a sinister plot. What exactly is going on? Why does Keanu feel the need to warn Jim Carrey? Let's delve deeper and try to understand what's really going on behind the scenes. Both Keanu and Jim have experienced ups and downs in Hollywood. While they've entertained millions, they've also faced intense pressure, criticism, and the dark side of fame. But this warning isn't about your average Hollywood drama. It's about something far more disturbing. Carrey, known for his comedic genius and over-the-top characters, has been at odds with Hollywood's elite for years. Talk show hosts, TV hosts, and sitcom actors were reportedly hired by the government to distract him, make him laugh, keep him happy, and keep him docile, thus preventing him from discovering what's really going on. Jim Carrey has never been afraid to speak his mind. His transition from comedy legend to a vocal critic of Hollywood's dark side has been extraordinary. According to Carrey, Hollywood punishes those who don't toe the line. He has also filed new charges against Will Smith, alleging he abused young actors. Carrey has hinted at a wider network of abuse and control within the film industry, suggesting that many well-known figures are complicit. Hollywood doesn't have a collective identity, and I felt like this was a clear sign that we're no longer the exclusive club we once were. These accusations not only put Carrey in the spotlight, they also made him a target. The question remains, why is he being attacked so aggressively? For years, TV hosts, small-screen personalities, sitcom actors, all, according to some theories, are government-hired distraction tools to keep you happy, calm, and unaware of what's really going on. Jim Carrey's outspoken nature and refusal to conform have made him a threat to Hollywood's upper echelons. But he's not the only one facing these challenges. Keanu Reeves, known for his humility and kindness, has also struggled in the industry. Reeves has always been open about the difficulties he's faced, from personal tragedies to professional failures. In an interview with GQ in 2019, he spoke about his time in what he called cinematic prison. He said Fox blacklisted him after he turned down the sequel to Speed, a ban that lasted 14 years. 14 years? It was weird, he said. Let's go back to 1994, a golden year for cinema. Pulp Fiction, The Shawshank Redemption, The Lion King, and Forrest Gump. Action fans enjoyed films like The Crow, True Lies, Leon, The Lion King, and, of course, the film that launched Keanu Reeves, Speed. That film not only won over critics, but also turned Reeves and Sandra Bullock into overnight stars. It grossed an incredible $350 million against a budget of just $30 million. But every success story also has its dark side. For Keanu, the triumph of Speed was a double-edged sword. After its enormous success, the studio obviously wanted a sequel. And if you're going to make a sequel to Speed, you have to bring back the original stars, right? Sandra Bullock agreed, but things got complicated with Keanu. Apparently, Reeves wasn't at all enthusiastic about the idea. So, when Speed 2, Cruise Control hit theaters, Keanu Reeves wasn't at the helm. Jason Patric was cast in his place, playing a cop named Alex Shaw. Alec, oh God, don't touch anything! But let's face it, it lacked that vibe, that special something that only Keanu Reeves had given the first film. The director and his co-star, Sandra Bullock, begged him to return for the sequel. I read the script and said, I can't do it. It's called Speed and it takes place on a cruise ship, Reeves told Esquire. He turned down a $5.5 million fee for the film and returned to stage acting in Canada, playing Hamlet for less than $1,000 a week. Naturally, Fox didn't take kindly to this. According to Reeves, the studio began spreading rumors that he would leave the sequel to go on tour with the... The real question is, what really kept him from returning to the role of the intense-eyed agent, especially when Willem Dafoe was on the other end? For starters, he was completely exhausted. He had just finished filming Chain Reaction and described the experience as truly disappointing. So much running, so much action, but no satisfaction. It took a long time for Reeves to transform into the John Wick we know today. In any case, the entire Chain Reaction experience left Reeves exhausted. At that point, he wasn't ready to embark on another action film, especially after narrowly escaping a hydrogen explosion during filming of the first Speed. The news was revealed to Entertainment Weekly by his agent, who stated that Reeves didn't want to star in 2 action films back-to-back. Furthermore, he had suffered a broken ankle in a motorcycle accident. As a result, the idea of participating in all those aquatic acrobatics in an attempt to slow down a cruise ship didn't seem very appealing. Hollywood, for its part, didn't seem to care about Reeves's health at all. In fact, it simply ignored him completely. The decision not to participate in the film, however, turned out to be the wisest one. Speed 2, released in 1997, was a massive flop. Despite a sizable budget of between $110 and $160 million, it only managed to gross $164.5 million. Furthermore, it earned a measly 4% on Rotten Tomatoes, widely considered one of the worst sequels ever made. In the end, it was Hollywood that lost out, not Keanu. Beyond his exclusion from the film industry, Keanu Reeves also faced a number of significant personal challenges while continuing to build a remarkable career and an impeccable reputation. Throughout his journey, he faced several tragic events that affected those close to him. His sister Kim's battle with leukemia took place in the late 1990s, well before the new millennium. During that time, Reeves was also in a relationship with actress Jennifer Syme. The two were expecting their first child when they met in 1998. However, in 1999, their daughter Ava was stillborn, an event that devastated them deeply. Their relationship suffered a severe blow due to this tragedy, and it wasn't long before they separated. They may have attempted to reconcile later, but they never truly managed to rebuild their relationship. Later, in 2001, Jennifer Syme died in a car accident after attending a party at Marilyn Manson's house. Although they were no longer together at the time, her death deeply affected Keanu Reeves. Reeves was also a close friend of River Phoenix, another rising star in Hollywood. You may know him for his powerful performance in Stand By Me, in which he starred alongside Corey Feldman. In 1993, a tragic event occurred. Phoenix, then just 23, died of a drug overdose at the Viper Room in Hollywood. His brother, Joaquin, was at his side at the time. Gus Van Sant's 1991 film, My Own Private Idaho, co-starred Reeves and Phoenix. Reeves said that initially, he and Phoenix weren't entirely sold on the script, and, as a result, decided to participate only if both of them would. As Reeves told Esquire, "I remember there was some sort of conversation about Crescent Heights, south of Sunset Boulevard." Reeves also said, "I remember what many of those days with River were like." So it's no surprise that her death left him inconsolable. "I miss him so much." "I know a lot of people miss him," Reeves revealed. However, he never talks about it, even though it's something that's always with him. According to a friend of Reeves's interviewed by People magazine, everyone knows not to bring up the subject with him. Reeves's experiences expose a pattern of abuse and exploitation within the film industry, similar to the one Jim Carrey tried to expose. It's important to understand that Jim Carrey's journey, from being a source of joy for millions to being portrayed by the media as eccentric, has been truly fascinating. Furthermore, some subsequent statements from people in the know suggest there's much more to this story than meets the eye. It has been claimed that the Dumb and Dumber star, known for his overwhelming energy and comedic talent, is causing concern among those close to him because of his increasingly isolated lifestyle, fueling fears for his well-being. Even though I believe in the power of manifestation and similar concepts, I don't think any of this really helps, you know? That worries me, a source said. Jim Carrey made a rare public appearance on his 62nd birthday, celebrated on January 5th. He appeared disheveled and almost unrecognizable, so much so that his friends rallied around him to offer him support. The comedian has spent time in seclusion and, according to a source cited by the National Enquirer, is hiding out and showing little interest in anything Hollywood has to offer. The source expressed concern, saying this situation is cause for alarm for the many people who care for Jim, who has been through truly difficult times in recent years. Furthermore, the person close to him revealed that Carrey has a tendency to withdraw and isolate himself. Observing his appearance, the source noted that the former actor appeared to bear the signs of significant abuse, both physical and mental. Since Jim Carrey has chosen to devote his time and energy to art rather than pursuing a career as an actor and comedian in Hollywood, concerns about his health are growing. In March 2022, the actor, best known for his role in Ace Ventura, told Access that he would most likely retire from acting. Carrey explained, "Well, I'll just retire. Yeah, that's very likely." That's a pretty serious statement. It depends. I could go on, but for now I'm taking a break. If the angels were to hand me a script written in gold ink and tell me it's going to be incredibly important for people to see, then I might continue. He then added, "I feel like, and this is something you probably won't ever hear from another celebrity, as far as time goes, I've had enough." Further expressing his state of mind, he stated, "I've achieved my goals. I just need to contain myself." Those close to him appear to be concerned about his well-being and lifestyle due to his shift in perspective towards seeking personal pleasure through artistic projects. Behind the scenes, Jim Carrey has stated that it took him time to realize that Hollywood was much more than lights, cameras, and action. He began to hint at a hidden agenda within the industry, turning artists into mere reflections of the identities they portray on screen, thus blurring the line between fiction and reality. In interviews and public appearances, Jim Carrey has made controversial statements. He has openly confessed that he often feels as if he's giving away his own identity to the characters he plays. These statements have raised eyebrows. If you dig deep enough into those characters, you realize that your own character is pretty weak to begin with. Jim Carrey is a person who doesn't exist. That's just how it is. Furthermore, Jim recently revealed that Hollywood entertainment is an industry devoid of character. The actor and comedian expressed his disgust during an interview with Gayle King on CBS Mornings in 2022 when he appeared as a guest. "I felt disgusted by that standing ovation and felt like Hollywood has no character." He was referring, in general, to the moment Will Smith took the stage to accept the Best Actor award for his role in King Richard, receiving a standing ovation for winning his first Oscar, despite having slapped Chris Rock on stage just minutes earlier. He added, "It seemed like a clear sign that we're no longer the cool kids club." Carrey went on to say that if he were in Chris Rock's shoes, he would sue Will Smith. "Since that recording was going to be there forever, I announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million. That gesture will likely be used endlessly. It will be a long time before that insult is forgotten," he added. Jim Carrey stated on the show, "If you want to shout from the audience to express your displeasure or post anything on Twitter or whatever, you still don't have the right to get on stage and punch someone in the face just because they said something. That's because you simply don't have the right to do that." But Jim Carrey wasn't the only one to speak out about this incident. Others did too. Furthermore, Cat Williams revealed shocking information about Smith in a particularly surprising interview. She suggested that Smith might be a slave to power, willing to do anything to climb the ranks of fame. Williams also gave the impression that there are puppeteers behind the scenes controlling Smith's every move and pulling his strings. Will Smith is not the giant he became solely because of his talents or those of his family, the statement said. The Will Smith brand encompasses 300 different companies, and if you're the person who does business with him, you have the power to make whatever is decided happen. Williams even claimed that the entire Oscar drama was a sham, a meticulously choreographed spectacle designed to limit Smith's agency in the entertainment industry, an environment where illusion often prevails over reality. Williams emphasized that such staged tragedies are more common than we might think. To truly understand the importance of these two figures in our context, we must acknowledge the fact that we are black. It's unthinkable that these two people are involved in all this just because they're good and too big. If it had been Michael Blackson and I hitting each other, instead of Will Smith and Chris Rock, then everything would have made perfect sense. It's a humbling experience for Chris Rock when two giants clash, and it's impossible to imagine emerging victorious from such a competition. If there was a comedian worth slapping, it was him, the leader of the Kuns, the unstoppable one, the best, the most correct, the one who has shown the most exemplary behavior since the 90s. He's the only person it made sense to slap if you wanted to. He's the one who would have taken the slap to attract the attention an audience needed to bring this story to light. Williams also reiterated that it was precisely that comedian, Chris Rock, who was the person to slap if you wanted to hit someone. The leader of the Kuns, the unstoppable one, the best of men, the one who has shown us the most impeccable behavior since the 90s. He's the only person it made sense to hit, if you absolutely had to. Furthermore, Williams argued that Smith's declining involvement in recent projects, such as the failed After Earth with his son Jaden, is a clear sign that these puppeteers are making a conscious effort to discredit him and relegate him to the background. For Hollywood's powerful, Smith is now effectively unemployed, the result of a series of orchestrated circumstances that led to public scrutiny and the destruction of his career. As part of their job, they manipulate people's perceptions of these celebrities, and that's precisely a fundamental aspect of their craft. It used to be called propaganda. Today, it's simply called business. It's not like they openly declare, "We have to slander the candidate." Rather, they simply discredit him. Whoever created you could also destroy you. That's the real bottom line. They wanted to buy you and put you on that Fox show precisely because they knew you'd accept. And precisely for this reason, once that implicit pact is violated, they will no longer have any interest in you. When Will shot After Earth with Jaden, they decided their relationship with him was over. They took him from a position where he was making $20 million a film to one where he now looks like a man in the throes of a nervous breakdown, no longer employable. They determined that their relationship with Will was over after that film with his son. From there, they took every measure necessary to remove him from an industry that was making him $20 million a year, placing him in a situation where he looks like a man adrift and unemployed. Williams suggests that both Smith and Diddy are victims of a system that consumes and then discards its big stars when they're no longer deemed useful. He reinforces this idea by comparing it to the ongoing controversies surrounding Diddy. In any case, Jim Carrey's rise to fame in Hollywood was a demonstration of the power of perseverance and consistency. Growing up in a lower-middle-class family, Jim Carrey always aspired to great success in the entertainment world. Through his performances at school and local comedy clubs, he honed his talent, developing a natural gift for impersonations and comic timing. When Jim Carrey moved to Los Angeles in the early 1980s, he finally made his mark. Thanks to his brilliant celebrity impersonations, he quickly caught the attention of television audiences, landing appearances on such notable shows as The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson, and In Living Color. His unique comedic style, based on exuberant physical comedy, immediately propelled him to the forefront of the entertainment industry, and soon, the movie industry was also knocking on his door. You are the answer. You are the answer. You are the answer. Shame. There are Kitsies. That's all there is to it. You step aside. This is a senseless, directionless policy. Throughout the 1990s, Jim Carrey was the undisputed king of comedy in Hollywood. He had become the benchmark for laugh-out-loud comedy. Ace Ventura. Pet Detective, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber are just a few of the films that helped cement his position as the undisputed king of the comedy genre. His performances were so outrageous, his facial expressions so exaggerated, and his timing so perfect that audiences would roar with laughter. Jim Carrey's comedic talent wasn't limited to film. He also received critical acclaim for his work on the television show In Living Color, and his one-man stand-up show Jim Carrey's Unnatural Act. His larger-than-life personality paved the way for him to become a household name and a box office phenomenon. It's a pleasure to meet you all. How kind of you, Bill, to be here. As the 2000s approached, Carrey began to feel a growing desire to broaden his horizons. He was said to be eager to demonstrate his versatility as an actor and expressed a willingness to explore more dramatic roles. The transition from comedy to drama can be challenging, as audiences often tend to strongly associate an actor with their comedic identity. It was a bold choice, as embarking on a dramatic journey was a real challenge. In 1998, Jim Carrey made his dramatic debut with The Truman Show, a profound film that questioned the boundary between reality and fiction. His nuanced portrayal of Truman Burbank, a man unknowingly living inside a reality show, earned him critical acclaim and won his first Golden Globe for Best Actor. Another notable performance was in Man on the Moon, released 2 years later, in which he played Andy Kaufman, an eccentric and mysterious comedian. He was once again critically acclaimed and won his second Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Drama. Jim faced mixed reactions as he transitioned from comedy icon to dramatic actor. He received both praise and criticism within the film industry. A sense of uncertainty began to surround him. Although his stage performances were lauded by academics, some directors began to consider him difficult to work with, and it seemed that the audience's once ardent devotion to him was slowly waning. There were undeniable signs that Hollywood was losing interest in Jim Carrey and actively working to make him obsolete, perhaps because he had the audacity to reveal a well-kept secret. The industry supposedly worked subtly to hinder his discovery of his true potential, forcing him back into the confines of his comedy box. It's also well known that once an actor begins to discover himself in Hollywood, his life, both professional and personal, is bound to undergo a turbulent transformation. Consistent with this, Jim's career began to decline, and he faced personal tragedies that deeply affected him. His reputation and mental health were severely tested by having to say goodbye to his ex-girlfriend, while her parents even suspected his involvement in her death. Carrey's growing discontent with the entertainment industry was exacerbated by Hollywood's cold and insensitive response to the affair. Spirituality became a source of solace for Carrey amidst the chaos. Through meditation and the adoption of visualization, he achieved success through a spiritual awakening. He began to question the very foundations of his existence, as well as the hidden reality behind the roles he played as an actor. According to Carrey, he came to understand that Hollywood required more than just acting talent from its participants. It demanded complete dedication to the roles, which often led the performer to lose track of reality. Amid the online debate, one passionate admirer couldn't help but chime in, openly declaring that there's no such thing as madness when you expose objective facts. This observation highlights the unbalanced way the entertainment industry and its media often treat those who dare challenge the common consensus. When the media fails to seriously delve into the truth of the claims made by certain individuals, they often resort to labeling them as eccentric or unstable. This effectively diverts attention from the true content of those individuals' revelations. Carrey's courageous stance not only transformed the public perception of his artistic persona, but also highlighted the age-old conflict between the industry's need for control and the desire for creative expression. His willingness to question traditional notions of fame and celebrity posed a concrete threat to Hollywood's carefully constructed narrative, provoking apathy and systematic attempts to discredit its legitimacy. As Carrey's inner transformation progressed, it became increasingly clear that Hollywood was unwilling to accept a Jim Carrey capable of challenging the established order of things. The industry thrived on actors who identified so deeply with their roles that they lost themselves in them, only to be discarded when they no longer served their intended purpose. Carrey's profound reflection challenged the industry's carefully constructed facade, revealing the control it exerts over its stars. At this point, it's clear that Jim's disenchantment with Hollywood reflects his own personal trajectory. Even after everything he's been through, Keanu Reeves remains one of the few genuinely charming and grounded superstars left in the current landscape, and he's maintained his optimism through it all. During his appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert in 2019, Keanu moved countless viewers to tears, both in the studio audience and at home. When Colbert, discussing death in relation to John Wick 3, asked him what he thought happens to us after we die, Keanu responded after a moment of reflection, "I know those who love us will miss us." I'm curious, Keanu Reeves. What do you think happens to us when we die? I know those who love us will miss us when we're gone. Furthermore, every year new touching stories emerge from fans who have met him, or from colleagues who recount instances of kindness, and it always warms our hearts. Keanu consistently puts others' needs before his own, one of his most admirable qualities. For example, his kindness in the workplace is legendary. More than a temperamental star, he's a true legend. Even though he earned a considerable sum for his role in The Matrix in 1999, he decided to donate a significant portion, around $5 million, to the special effects team and behind-the-scenes workers, believing they deserved it more than he did. And when he was at the height of his popularity, he readily accepted a $2 million pay cut for The Devil's Advocate so the production could afford to hire heavyweights like Al Pacino. He also reduced his salary by a staggering 90% to compensate replacement actors, with the sole purpose of hiring Gene Hackman. But when it comes to Keanu, it's not just about money. The admiration he has for both his female co-stars and his fans continues to amaze. Over the years, the inappropriate, and in some cases even illegal behavior of a growing number of male celebrities has become increasingly apparent, elevating Keanu to the status of golden role model. He's earned praise not only for his impeccable red carpet demeanor, but also for the wonderful relationships he's developed with his female colleagues during filming. It's not uncommon for actors to hug their co-stars while posing for photographers. Many Hollywood women wouldn't mind such gestures between friends or colleagues, but it seems Reeves always puts his co-star's comfort first. In 2019, the public became aware of his peculiar habit. He tends to hover his hand behind the women he poses with, without ever touching them. As a result, social media was filled with admiration. This gesture was interpreted as a form of respect for his colleagues, a way to convey the message that he doesn't intend to invade their personal space. Furthermore, the Matrix actor is known for his generous donations to charities, often made anonymously. Reeves was reportedly inspired to give back to the community after his younger sister, Kim Reeves, battled leukemia in the past. Since then, he has contributed considerable sums to cancer research and children's hospitals. Unlike most celebrities who link their name to charity, he appears to prefer to keep a low profile, quietly donating a significant portion of his wealth. "I have a private foundation that's been running for 5 or 6 years, providing financial support to children's hospitals and cancer research. It's not something I want associated with my name," he said. According to Snopes, in a 2009 interview with Ladies' Home Journal, he simply said, "I let the foundation do what it needs to do." However, Reeves hasn't always managed to keep his philanthropic work under wraps. In 2020, to raise funds for an organization that supports children with cancer, the Point Break actor held an auction offering a 15-minute Zoom video call with him. Thus, despite Hollywood's repeated attempts to derail Keanu Reeves' career, it has never succeeded. The public's admiration for him has only grown, thanks to his extraordinary behavior. In any case, one question remains. What happens next? It's unclear whether his actions will lead to significant change or whether the industry will continue to take punitive measures against him. Only time will tell. However, one thing is certain. Jim Carrey and Keanu Reeves will not back down. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest stories. Let us know in the comments what you think of Keanu's warning and what you think is going on behind the scenes.